Has the recent Baltimore port crisis got you wondering about its global implications? Well, let's dive right into it. This pivotal event began with a tragic accident near the Port of Baltimore, where a container ship collided with a bridge, causing it to collapse. This catastrophe led to the indefinite closure of the port, one of the busiest in the United States, sending shockwaves through the global shipping industry. But what happened next? As the dust settled, shipping companies began to understand the gravity of the situation. MSC, the world's largest container ship company, found itself in a particularly precarious position. With the Port of Baltimore no longer an option, MSC had to make a tough decision. They chose to terminate the delivery of diverted containers outside of the port. This decision meant that the responsibility of picking up cargo at a diverted port and transporting it to its final destination now fell squarely on the shoulders of the shippers. This was a significant shift from the norm and presented a whole new set of challenges for those in the logistics industry. To further complicate matters, cargo that was already en route to the Port of Baltimore had to be rerouted and discharged at alternate ports. This rerouting process added another layer of complexity and cost to an already intricate supply chain system. And with the passage to and from Baltimore looking to be impossible for several weeks, if not months, the ripple effects of this crisis are set to be felt for some time. This tragic event has set a ripple effect in motion, disrupting global shipping to a great extent. But MSC isn't the only player in this unfolding drama. Other major ocean carriers such as CMA CGM, COSCO, and Evergreen have also been thrust into the limelight. These companies too have had to make tough decisions in response to the Baltimore port crisis. In the wake of the incident, CMA, CGM, COSCO, and Evergreen were among the first to make their moves. Like MSC, they announced the termination of their delivery contracts for diverted containers, leaving the cargo pickup and transportation to the shipper's responsibility. But their approach went a step further, invoking a legal term known as force majeure. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is force majeure? Well, it's a clause often found in contracts that essentially frees both parties from their obligations when an extraordinary event or circumstance beyond their control takes place. In this case, the bridge collapse at the Baltimore port is that extraordinary event. By declaring force majeure, these ocean carriers are legally absolving themselves of their contractual duties to deliver the cargo to its final destination. It's a move that, while legal, has undoubtedly added another layer of complexity to an already challenging situation. But there's one major carrier that's taken a different path: Maersk. In stark contrast to its counterparts, Maersk has announced that it will provide transport from the diverted ports for its customers. This means that, unlike the other carriers, Maersk is shouldering the responsibility of ensuring the cargo reaches its intended destination, despite the detours and delays caused by the crisis. In the face of adversity, each carrier has chosen a different path, further complicating the situation. The crisis at the Baltimore port is more than just a shipping issue. It's a logistics nightmare. The recent events have thrown supply chains into disarray, causing disruptions that ripple far beyond the port's boundaries. The sudden closure of a major port like Baltimore forces the rerouting of cargo to alternate ports, which in turn puts a strain on those locations. Each reroute represents a complex puzzle for logistics companies to solve, as they must quickly adjust transport plans to ensure goods reach their final destinations. There's a domino effect in play. The ship accident and subsequent bridge collapse have not only halted deliveries outside the Port of Baltimore, but also led to a surge in cargo volumes at other major East Coast ports. This sudden influx of cargo can lead to congestion and delays, further complicating the logistics of moving goods. Smaller companies in particular are feeling the heat. They often lack the resources and infrastructure to navigate these changes smoothly, and as a result, they may face challenges in avoiding additional fees and ensuring efficient logistics management. The situation is especially tricky for them, as they are left to grapple with the effects of the crisis while also trying to maintain their operations. To aid in monitoring these disruptions, the U.S. Department of Transportation has deployed its Flow platform. This tool provides a much-needed overview of the situation, helping to track and manage supply chain disruptions. It's like a radar system for the logistics world, helping to navigate the stormy seas of this crisis. However, even with such tools, the logistics sector is walking a tightrope. Every reroute, every delay, every surge in cargo volumes at alternate ports, it all adds to the complexity of an already intricate system. The logistics world is scrambling to keep up with these sudden changes, with smaller companies bearing the brunt of the impact. The Baltimore crisis is just one piece in a larger puzzle of global trade diversions. It's a domino effect, with each incident causing ripples that affect the entirety of the global shipping industry. Let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. For starters, the Panama Canal, a significant artery of global trade, has been facing its own set of challenges. Restrictions here have been forcing vessels to take longer, more expensive routes around South America. This, in turn, has been leading to an increase in costs and time, causing a significant impact on the global shipping industry. Moving on to the Red Sea, we've seen diversions due to the Houthi attacks. The instability in the region has made it a high-risk area for shipping, leading to rerouting of vessels and additional costs. These diversions are not just about the added distance and time, but they also contribute to the overall uncertainty and unpredictability in the industry. And then, there's the potential for union strikes. The International Longshoremen's Association, or ILA, has been in contract negotiations with U.S. importers and ocean carriers. The possibility of a strike has led to a shift of trade away from East Coast ports, causing further disruption in the shipping routes. In response to these challenges, logistics companies are advising clients to establish alternative supply chains. The West Coast, for example, is being viewed as a potential alternative to mitigate potential disruptions. This means a complete rethinking and restructuring of logistics plans, a task that's easier said than done. The Baltimore crisis, in the context of these other disruptions, paints a picture of a global shipping industry in turmoil. It's a reminder that the world of shipping is interconnected, and a disruption in one part of the world can have far-reaching effects. The implications of these diversions are still unfolding, and it's clear that the industry is in for a rough ride. So, what are the key lessons from the Baltimore port crisis? Well, let's summarize the main points we've discussed. Firstly, we've seen major carriers like MSC, CMA CGM, Costco, and Evergreen declaring force majeure, terminating contracts at alternate ports due to the crisis. MSC, the world's largest ocean carrier, has placed the responsibility of cargo pickup and transport to its final destination on the shipper. The only exception so far has been Maersk, who has offered to provide transport from diverted ports for their customers. Secondly, the crisis has had a profound impact on logistics and supply chains. With the Baltimore port indefinitely closed, cargo is being rerouted to alternate ports, causing disruptions and necessitating swift and efficient logistics management. This situation has particularly affected smaller companies who may face challenges navigating these changes and avoiding additional fees. Thirdly, the crisis has occurred within a broader context of global trade diversions. Factors such as the Red Sea Houthi attacks, Panama Canal drought, and potential union strikes have already been causing costly diversions from major global trade routes. The Baltimore port crisis adds another layer of complexity to this situation. So, what might this mean for the future? Well, it's clear that the shipping industry is facing significant challenges. The crisis has highlighted the vulnerability of supply chains and the need for robust contingency plans. It has also underscored the importance of coordination and information sharing in responding to disruptions. As we continue to monitor the situation, one thing is clear. The Baltimore port crisis has left a mark on the global shipping industry that won't be easily erased.